Okay. We're going. First order of business. Let me put my headphones on. As all good streams begin. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. Okay. I also just watched this video about filler words, so I'm gonna try my best to use as few filler words as possible in my speech. Apparently you can substitute them for an inhale or an exhale perhaps, whatever you will. So I'm gonna get a new tab real quick and turn on some tunes. Bear with me as I do this. Hopefully you can't see. Awesome. So right now on my screen you're looking at my textbook. Chapter 4 and Chapter 7 are our tasks today. Feel free to put me on very quietly. Oh, that timer is also just completely wrong. We'll worry about the timer when we actually get going. So let's see, what was I playing before? I was playing some sort of it was like bossa nova copyright free music. That looks about right. Let's see if we can find a new one. Wonderful bossa nova instrumental Brazilian. Oh, no. What we really need is like acoustic Spanish guitar, copyright free, of course. Background music. See if we can get like a long. Okay, this is. We don't want relaxing. Flamenco. That's what I was looking for. Let's see how this sounds. Come on. I know it's too loud, but come on. That's it. We found it. Okay. Let me balance this out a little bit. Okay, we're grooving. We're moving now. Is it about there where I want it? I don't know if my music should be at. Let me look this up. For background music, should it be at -40 dB or -30 dB? So my commentary is 0. I don't think this is going to be helpful. Rats. I don't know if that's quite right. I think this is too quiet though. I feel like that's pretty good. Because this allows me to be quiet while I can. Okay, this is good. Let's leave it at that. And let's just make sure. I know there's all these tasks I have to complete here before we actually get going. So if you're here, I appreciate you being here. No one is here. That's fine. I'm just making sure everything looks good on the stream when I pull it up on my own computer. Let's leave it at that. Phenomenal. Phenomenal indeed. Okay, we're good. Let's begin. I'm gonna reset my timer here. And 1 hour on the clock. So, today is pretty self-explanatory. We are studying financial planning. Ooh, but wait, I want to be able to. Is there a way to add tabs in split view? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Let's do, and then we'll do this. Okay, that's pretty hype. This is actually pretty hype. I didn't realize that was going to be possible. It's kind of narrow. I'm using an ultra-wide monitor just to have one square on my screen. Maybe we can do... We'll make it work, y'all. Because we're mostly just taking notes today. Okay, so as you can see here, week 2, learning objectives. We have 2 chapters to read. chapters 4 and chapter 7. We already prepared our Notion tabs. We have one video to watch, and a big assignment for the end of the week, and a quiz by the end of the week. Luckily, last week we had 7 chapters to read. This week we only have 2 chapters. So we can get right on in. Let me know if y'all are messing with this music. I can make it a little quieter. It's a little intrusive. Wait, does that actually... Yeah, this does affect it. Okay. I'm just playing around with some things. Audio bars. Alright, cool. This flamenco music got me. It's just fun. Okay, wait, let me shout out. Shout out the stream to my siblings so they know that I'm live. Alright. We had a whole saga with this calculator. We technically have the wrong batteries for it, but it does function. The batteries will just drain a little faster, so that's okay. Alright, we're probably going to end up doing this for 2 hours. I actually won't even need a calculator probably, but let's just get right into it. Let's open up our chapter 4 notes. And this chapter is called Income Tax Planning. And it all begins with 4.1, Tax Planning and Introduction. Okay. Is that music too loud? Be honest. Let's do that. I'm just gonna turn it down on my own thing, whatever. Okay. Tax planning typically follows a cash flow and net worth analysis. Also, just what we're doing today. I'm just reading through this textbook, and I'm going to be taking notes. So you can take notes doing whatever you want on the side. This just helps me, because I don't know if I've really articulated this before. Doing these live streams and explaining my notes as I learn helps me retain information, forces me to explain the concepts as I'm absorbing them, as I'm reading them, trying to understand them, because having to assimilate information and then speak it in a different way requires you to understand what you're actually reading. Filler word, rats. And the goal also, there's a secondary mission to improve as a narrator, as a public speaker. Not another filler word, bro. That's actually going to be bad. Because when you're not talking to anybody in particular, you want to fill the silence. So I'm trying to get better. All part of the mission. It's there's multifaceted benefits. Not quite the right word. There are many benefits. Never use an excessively big word when a smaller word gets the job done better. Alright, that doesn't matter. Okay, let's begin. Tax planning typically follows a cash flow and net worth analysis. Okay, interesting. Tax planning follows a cash flow and net worth analysis. Sequencing tax planning early in the analytical process is helpful in identifying financial planning opportunities and strategies that can reduce future tax liabilities and increase discretionary cash flow. So you have kind of a goal here, kind of an unspoken goal of we want to reduce future tax liabilities and increase discretionary cash flow. Additionally, results from a tax plan can be used as a client educational tool. In addition to providing clients with background terms, definitions, calculations, a tax plan can prompt client dialogue about retirement funding, insurance needs, college planning, and other tax client goals that tax issues can impact. Okay, so it's kind of an open door to open up these conversations about every area of your financial life through tax planning. Makes a lot of sense. Again, this is just an introduction, so we don't have to go into too much detail right now. Financial planners who do not consider themselves tax specialists should consider establishing working relationships with tax professionals, such as a CPA, tax attorney, or enrolled agent. The intern of the IRS recognizes these professionals as qualified to represent clients in tax disputes. A financial planner should also take time to understand the client's knowledge of taxes and determine whether any previously undisclosed tax issues are present in the client's situation. Identify. Hello? Identify. What did I just read? Undisclosed tax issues. Undisclosed tax issues. If you, a financial planner, are not a tax specialist, establish a working relationship with tax professionals, CPA, tax attorney, or enrolled. I've never heard of an enrolled agent before. I don't really know what that means. Let's get a Claude tab up because I think this will help just answer some questions as we go. One piece of advice that I was always given was when you're reading a textbook, if you don't understand a term, just go look up the term. Don't pretend like you understand it in context when you really don't. Obviously, I'm guilty of this all the time, but now you're watching me, so I feel inclined to. What is an enrolled agent in tax terms? Why is that not full screen? There we go. What the heck? Oh. What on earth? Okay, sorry. We'll have to fix that in a second. An enrolled agent, meaning right now. Okay. An enrolled agent is a federally licensed tax practitioner authorized by the U.S. Department of Treasury, literally to represent taxpayers before the IRS. Okay, so they're authorized by the U.S. government to represent taxpayers before the IRS. EAs are, I already forgot, tax practitioners authorized by the U.S. Treasury to, I hate how practitioner, okay, there's a few extra letters in there, to represent taxpayers before the IRS. Okay, beautiful. Understand the client situation. Referring a client to a CPA or whatever is often prudent. That's one of my favorite words. Oh, I didn't drink coffee, hence all that. So it's often prudent, but such referrals do not remove the basic fact-finding obligations associated with comprehensive financial planning. Okay, so it's basically saying you should know what you're talking about. Don't outsource all of your work to these other professionals. While relying on the help of a CPA, attorney, or EA might be necessary, it does not eliminate the need for a financial planner to exhibit a clear understanding of current tax laws. This is true because a client's tax situation directly or indirectly influences almost every aspect. Okay. Okay, so this is just saying the client's tax situation directly impacts every aspect of their financial plan. Do not defer all tax law knowledge, expertise to outsourced experts. That's basically what it's telling me to do. Okay. Consider a recommendation to increase 401k retirement plan contributions. This recommendation, holy typo in a textbook? Double H has retirement planning, cash flow, and tax. What? I didn't know I needed coffee that bad to like function as a non-yawning adult. I'm a yawner. At least for now. Okay. Right, so obviously, if you're increasing your 401k retirement plan contribution, it's more than just money leaving your bank account. You have to take into consideration cash flow, tax, retirement planning, all these considerations. Pre-tax contributions to a qualified retirement plan help reduce the amount of income reportable for income tax purposes. This in turn helps reduce a client's annual tax withholding requirement, which can increase discretionary cash flow. It's all intertwined, which is why financial planners need to have a very comprehensive, broad understanding of all these concepts, even if it's not their exact field. Conversely, the client can avoid or minimize additional tax payments generated from investment earnings by not decreasing the withholding requirement. As this example illustrates, I'm yawning again. It's also something about speaking out loud. When I'd be in church and like singing worship, I would be yawning all the time. So something about breath leaving your lungs just makes you yawn, man. Besides the point. Okay, there is an important caveat here. Unless a financial planner is also a CPA or an EA, it's prudent to include a tax planning disclaimer when presenting any tax calculations, estimates, or recommendations, such as, before implementing your advice provided, please confirm this. Okay, interesting. So, barring you as a financial planner are also a tax professional, you should include a note in your financial plan recommending your client consults a tax professional, CPA, EA, to go over to confirm your suggestions. Or provide alternative solutions. Whatever you may. Okay. My chair just does not support me as I want it to. Let's tuck in a little bit more here. Okay. The purchase, sale, or refinancing of a personal residence provides an example of how client actions can trigger tax issues that call for advanced financial planning. Under current tax law, a married couple can exclude up to $500,000 in gains in the sale of primary residence. I'm crying. Okay, so this kind of seems like a more specific detail than just the introduction to tax planning, because this is just kind of telling us that a married couple has this $500,000 exclusion to when they sell their house. A holding period requirement. Losses on a sale are regarded as personal losses and are not deductible. Interesting. Any gains exceeding the excluded amount are generally taxed at the capital gains rate. Holy, okay, that's a lot of definitions, which we'll get to in a second. Maybe I should make some coffee. I'm yawning nonstop. I'm sorry if I'm making you yawn. No one's there. All right, well, we should write it down, regardless of whether or not I think it should be in the intro or not. There it is. Married couple can exclude up to $500,000 in gains. Okay. I'm just gonna put it in a new little tab here because I feel like it shouldn't be in the same spot. A married couple under current tax laws, because they're always changing, always, can exclude up to $500,000 from the sale, $500,000 in gains from the sale of a primary residence. Has to be their primary residence. The client must have owned and used the home for any 2 of the past 5 years. The client must have owned and used the home for any 2 of the past 5 years. Losses are not deductible personal loss. Any gains over the 500K are taxed at capital gains rate. A single client can exclude $250,000. Okay. Also, consider the itemized deduction for home mortgage interest. So I don't know what an itemized deduction is, so let's look that up. What is an itemized deduction? It's a term I hear all the time, but I just don't know what it means. An itemized deduction is a specific expense you list individually on your tax return to reduce your taxable income, instead of a flat standard deduction. Oh my word, bro. This is really bad. I can't do this. Well, I can, but not without yawning every 2 minutes. Okay. An itemized deduction is an expense you list individually on your tax return to reduce your taxable income. Is an expense you list individually on your tax return to reduce your taxable income. I wonder, so can you take the standard deduction instead of taking the government's flat standard deduction? Okay. When you file taxes, you can choose 1 of 2 ways to reduce your taxable income. Standard deduction is a fixed dollar amount the IRS gives everyone automatically. You pick whichever one gives you the larger deduction. Okay, that makes sense. You can either take the standard flat deduction, or, not and or, just or, list out every itemized deduction. Take whichever one gives you the greater deductible amount. So essentially whichever one shows your spending as the highest, because then you're taxed on less income. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I can't lie to you. Not that I would, but it's cool. Is this music making me sleepy? Making you sleepy? I might change to I might change to EDM. EDM copyright free background music, because I'm so tired, bro. I love flamenco, but Hyperdrive Boogie is what this is called. This makes me want to sleep too. It all makes me want to sleep, bro. EDM copyright free. Maybe I just like bite the bullet and wait, hold up. A synthwave mix for Galactic Explorers. Here, wait, I can show y'all this actually. Anything? Alright. I could do that. Born too late to explore the world, and too soon to explore the galaxy. What a time to be alive. Music for those longing for a place that just doesn't exist. Taking you back to a place you've never been, one you feel inside you. So true. Major props for listening to the actual artists. Wait, is this like bro slams down 36 tracks like it's no big deal. Zero filler, all thriller. That sounds like the most AI comment I've ever heard. All thriller on this filler. No thrill without the seek. Nabbed off other channels. These ain't his bro. I was playing Minecraft while listening to this. Perfect timing. I thought it was in-game until I realized I was playing an outdated version. Haha! Thank you so much for having me in this beautiful mix. It's always an honor. Thank you for featuring my song. Okay, that's cool. The artists seem to enjoy it. To anyone reading this, you are stronger than you think, and capable of amazing things. Believe in yourself, even when it feels hard. Your journey is unique and valuable. Keep going. I'm somewhat of a galactic explorer myself. Holy moly, I'm tired. Let's just get chapter 4. Oh! Uh-oh. We got Isaac in the chats. Oh. Maybe I shouldn't name drop. Okay. It's okay. I guess that's fine. Alright. Let me fill you in. We've done 4.1 out of... Oh my, this is the longest chapter. I didn't actually look ahead. So far we've done 4.1, and we just need to do 4.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so maybe I might need another hour in addition to this 35 minutes, because this is ridiculously long. But we'll see what we can do. I think admittedly we've been taking too long on these kind of elementary, in fact, introductory. Okay, chill with the big words. Just so smart. Well, studying's really working. Okay. We just switched our music to synth from flamenco Spanish guitar because I was tired. Alright. Consider the itemized deduction for home mortgage interest, which is often cited as a tax benefit. While true, the deduction applies only to interest paid on primary mortgage initial acquisition debt. Primary mortgage initial acquisition debt. Okay. In 2018, the law was changed. The only interest on loans used to acquire property after December 15th Up to a cumulative value of $750,000 can be deducted. Interest paid on home equity loans and home equity lines of credit. HELOC. We learned about that earlier. Actually, I was at a coffee shop, so y'all don't see that. Okay. No longer deductible unless the loan is used to acquire property or operate property. Interesting note, actually, I should write that down. Interest paid on home equity loans. Interest paid on home equity loans and HELOCs are no longer deductible unless the loan is used to acquire property. Okay. Are no longer deductible unless the loan is used to acquire or upgrade property. Fair. In situations where two or more non-married individuals own a home together and have used the home as their principal residence for 2 or less years. Sure. Yeah, we've already been over that. Makes sense. Know the definitions. Tax planning has its own specialized terminology, yada yada. AGI, AMT, basis, capital gains, sure, all simple stuff. Deductions, right. Depreciation recapture. A tax on the gain from the sale of a depreciated business property. A tax on the gain from the sale of depreciated, that's a lot of moving parts. That's a lot of moving parts, I cannot lie to you. Federal tax imposed, state tax, yeah, exemptions, expatriation tax. Okay, makes sense. Yep. Sure, yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, we all know all of these. Schedule C, Schedule C, Form 4562, Form 8829, 8949. Generation skipping transfer tax, of course, give tax inclusion, naturally. Harvesting capital gains losses, income shifting, marginal tax rule, pass-through taxation, payroll tax, qualified business income deduction. So what I'm gonna do is essentially just refer back here whenever I need to look up any of these things, because I don't want to actually memorize all this. Funny. Okay. A financial planner needs to stay abreast of ever-changing tax numbers, blah, blah, blah. Must exhibit competency in performing tax calculations to create a well-rounded tax plan. This is just saying the same stuff over and over and over. I'd be down if we could get some of those examples to actually work through real steps and real problems, because this is the case study book after all. Okay. Estimating a client's tax liability. This is going to be important. The following is a basic 9-step income tax calculation process that can be used when estimating a client's tax liability. Let's write that down. Write that down. 9-step income tax calculation process. Step 1, record sources of gross income. Step 2, exclude non-taxable income and pre-tax items. Step 3, calculate gross income. Step 4, subtract expenses for adjusted gross income above the line deductions. Step 5, reduce AGI by either the standard deduction, that government imposed flat rate we talked about, or by the itemized deduction amounts to arrive at taxable income. 6, calculate tax liability, reduce tax liability using credits. Oh, add in other tax liabilities. I guess there's more. determine the additional tax liability for the tax refund amount. Could you do something like, wait, should I be on the other side? Low-key, I probably should. I should rearrange this because it looks like I'm looking off into the distance here. So if I put myself here, what did I just do? Low key, this makes way more sense, yo. Sorry. Jesse, from Breaking Bad. Okay, this makes, like, more logical sense. Okay. For real, guys, luck. That's all for myself, honestly, because I need to do that. Yeah, I feel like this just makes more sense. Put that up here. Yes, it's coming together. Alright, I like this. Enough. I feel like it tracks. It's more logical. Yeah, whatever. You need to leave. Alright. So these are our 9-step income tax calculations. This is the 9-step process to calculate income tax deductions, or just income tax. It ensures that all income is appropriately accounted for, expenses are recorded, and appropriate tax reduction tools and techniques are utilized. Of the 9 steps, steps 2, 4, 5, and 7 are areas where a financial planner can add the most value. Steps 2, I wish there was an easy way to make this a different color. Steps 2, 4, what is it? 5, wait, at steps 2, 4, 5, and 7. This is kind of super loud. Okay. I didn't include the whole line. That's a bit strange. Step 1 involves identifying client income. The step in the calculation process requires the financial planner to know the delivery schedule of tax reporting forms. Step 2. This music is killing me, bro. You're doing way too much. I'm sorry. I'm a little irritable for some reason. That's on me. Okay. Identify client income. This is all very, very straightforward stuff. We can skim this because this is all stuff we've already gone over. Okay. Okay. Are we still on? What just happened? I think we got moved around to somewhere I don't want to be. Now the numbers. Realized and unrealized gains. This is so boring. Not even being on a stream is enough to make this interesting to me right now. What jobs? cooler jobs than financial planning. No alternative career paths for financial planners. Investment advisor, boring as heck. Corporate finance analyst, heck no. Well, prepare financial models, assist in capital raising, manage budgets, provide insights for mergers. Just not really calling my name. Financial educator, no. Wealth manager, no. Compliance officer, no. Entrepreneur. Business acumen, networking, practical experience. I got some of those. Real estate planner. What does that mean? Focusing on investment opportunities in the property market. Analyze market dynamics. Appraise property investments and assist clients in creating a varied real estate portfolio. Oh my word. Nonprofit financial manager, risk manager, finance software developer, fintech product manager, estate planner, insurance consultant, ESG sustainability assistant, analyst, tax advisor. That's what we're talking about right now. Family office advisor. What does that mean? Family office advisor manages the complex management of ultra high net worth families, often across generations. So you're a financial planner, financial content strategist, or media expert. Hold on now. Financial planners with strong communication skills can transition into financial media roles, creating content for blogs, newsletters, podcasts, YouTube channels, or major publications. Financial content strategists translate complex financial concepts into accessible, engaging narratives for consumers, professionals, or investors. This career blends financial expertise with storytelling, SEO strategy, and audience engagement. Okay, y'all, these are my thing. This is what I love doing. As financial literacy demand grows, credible finance voices are increasingly valuable across digital platforms. But here's my qualm, if you will. Why that's just my question. That's just what I'm thinking about these days. Wow. Okay. So my question is, why would I get this as a job? And maybe this isn't directly saying that, when I could just start a finance YouTube channel. But also, I don't want to do that. Pension fund, financial. Okay, so I mean, no, it should be client facing. It should be. I only really want to do this because it's client facing. Because I actually don't want to do this. That's the real thing here. I can get some beef jerky. Hang on, watch this. Bang! Okay. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Just a quick snack. That is so loud. Sorry. Alright. Let's get back to it. Part of the ASMR. Okay. Alright, we're back. This music is not it. This is just not it. Noir. Oh my days. I want to do some of this. Noir. Jazz. Copyright free. If we can get some this is what I'm looking for right there. She was drop dead gorgeous. Or maybe she was just gorgeous. And I was the guy who would drop dead. Oh! Yo! The rain poured down in the city like a million tears from a million broken dreams. Her perfume smelled like danger and dollar store vanilla candles. I was in love. I lost something once. I lost something I couldn't live without. My identity. Funny thing about the city, you can lose yourself in its shadows so easily. You almost forget you were ever whole. But maybe, just maybe, one rainy night you'll turn a corner and find what's left of you staring back. There she is. And for a moment, you remember. It's never easy in my line of work. The first few times you see the body of a young person soaked with blood and rain, it's hard, but it never gets easier. You find ways to cope, to numb yourself to the sights and smells, usually with whiskey. But this time was different. You see, I knew her. Not just that, I was in love with her once. Seeing her there, eyes staring up at me as if asking to help, I was told to stay out of this one, but I wasn't going to. Someone killed her in cold blood, and that someone was going to pay. What the frick does this mean, bro? When she walked in, my heart walked out, but I stayed. When she walked in, my heart walked out, but I stayed. That's deep. Somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me. I had the sharpest tool to shed. That one is cool. That song, that voice kept haunting me. Bro, I want to see someone write like a whole novel out here. I feel like somebody had to have gone like crazy. I mean, these are pretty long. I was a tough young gal, PI. This is so interesting. I think everyone has... There it is! There it is! That's what I was looking for. I knew someone would do this. People always do this, bro. These super long essays. He wrote an entire story in the comment section of this jazz noir copyright-free playlist. Let's see if it's any good. You found me through a friend of a friend, which is how most people find me when they don't want to admit they're looking. Older guy, close to 70, the kind of face that used to smile more than it does now. He sat across from my desk and didn't say anything for a long time, just looked at the window, where the fog was doing its usual number on the city. His wife was gone. He was alone now. He could see it in the way he held himself, like a house that used to be full of furniture. You ever have one of those moments, he asked finally, one where everything could have gone different if you had just known what you were looking at? I lit a cigarette. More than one. He nodded like that's what he expected. Her name was Barbara, who grew up next door. I'd known her my whole life. She was just there. Always there. The way a tree is there, or the sun. You don't notice it because it's always been a part of the landscape. His eyes wandered somewhere far away. She was perfect. I was stupid. The usual story. I let him talk. That's the job sometimes, just listening to people work through things they've been carrying alone. Freshman year of college, I went home for a weekend. When I got back to my dorm Sunday evening, there was a note taped to my door from her. He stopped, swallowing something that looked like it hurt. She'd driven 2 hours to see the Beach Boys playing in the gymnasium that night. She'd stopped by my room looking for me. I wasn't there. A cigarette burned between my fingers. I waited. I had a ticket too. I didn't know she was coming. Didn't know she'd be standing at my door, hoping to find me. His voice cracked a little. I spent that whole concert walking the gym floor, looking for her. Every face in the crowd, I checked it, over and over. The music was playing, everyone was dancing, and I was just searching. Like I knew somewhere deep down that this was the moment. This was the one I'd remember forever if I got it wrong. He went quiet. Outside, a car horn sounded, far away and lonely. Did you find her? No. The word came out flat and empty. Never saw her again. Heard she moved to the next state. Got married, had kids, lived a whole life without me in it. He pulled out his wallet, extracted a folded piece of paper. I kept the note. 30 years. Can't even read the words anymore. The ink's so faded. But I memorized it. Every word she'd said. She said she'd come for the concert. Said she'd hope she'd see me there. She'd been thinking about me. He put the note away, hands shaking a little. She'd been thinking about me. Drove 2 hours just to find me. And I was home for the weekend, doing nothing. Now I've been thinking about her. The office was quiet. Somewhere down the hall, someone had on a radio. Had a radio on low, old jazz, a saxophone wandering through something slow and blue. You know what gets me, he said? Every time I hear the Beach Boys now, I'm back in that gym, walking the floor, looking for her face. And I think about her standing at my door, taping up that note, wondering where I was. Both of us in the same place, same night, missing each other by hours, by a heartbeat. He stood up, straightening his jacket. I don't know why I came here. I don't know why I thought you could tell me. I wondered, is she still out there? But it's been a long time. Maybe you just need to say it out loud. He looked at me. You think she ever thought about me all these years later? I thought about all the women I'd known, the ones who'd moved on, the ones who stayed. The way memory works, holding on to things you think you've forgotten until something brings them back. Yeah, I said, I think she did. A woman doesn't drive 2 hours and leave a note on a door for someone she's going to forget. She carried you too. Maybe still does. He stood there a long moment, an old man holding on to a memory of a girl named Barbara and a note on a door a lifetime ago. Then he nodded, put on his hat, and walked out into the fog. I sat there after he left, listening to the saxophone down the hall, thinking about all the notes left on doors, all the weekends spent nowhere special, all the moments I didn't realize until they were already behind me, fixed and unchangeable. Two people in the same place, the same night, missing each other by the time it takes to drive home and back. That's the stuff that stays with you. That's the music that plays in your head at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep and the fog is rolling in. The songs we almost heard, the lives we almost lived. It was getting late, so I stepped into a martini and passed out. Well, I'll give him a like, because I read that whole thing as a form of procrastination from this monstrosity. Okay, I'm going through a crisis. Not only do I not care about this textbook, but this isn't what I want to do. Let's click the next page. Okay, wait, so, yeah, realized and unrealized gains. A realized gain. How do I calculate capitalized gain? It's calculated by subtracting the adjusted basis and property from properties sale price reported on 1040. sometimes a gain is realized but not immediately recognized. Sometimes gain loss is realized but not immediately recognized. Examples of situations that might result in an unrecognized gain or loss include completing section 1031, like-kind exchange. Alright, whatever, man. Qualified dividends and interest. Qualified dividends are generally taxed at a lower rate than earned income. Qualified dividends are generally taxed at a lower rate than earned income. This means that income received in the form of a qualified dividend will typically vest in both. That's what it than ordinary interest income. Okay, fire. This means it's generally taxed lower than ordinary interest income. How can I do this in a way that a little higher? How can I keep this more interesting? Because this is so boring. Okay. Although dividends are currently taxed at a low rate compared to regular interest, using qualified dividends for any reason other than increasing the rate of return in long-term savings can be risky. Risky, you say? Now, why would that be risky? For example, using dividend-paying stocks as the basis of an emergency fund can create a liquidity risk for a client. Further, tax laws are constantly in flux. It's possible that the federal tax-advantaged nature of dividends will be repealed in the future. State income taxes may also apply. Okay, pretty simple. Long-term versus short-term capital gains. Over a year, under a year. Easy. Help. Didn't register my click. We did it. What the heck is this? What is going on? How do you win? I'm so confused. What? Man, it's not even enjoyable at all. Alright. This is the least productive stream of my entire life. Alright. Sure. I've seen these words before. This is kind of a fail. But as my mother always said, I'm actually not going to put this on my mom. She never said this. Sometimes when you go to the gym, you're not always going to have a killer workout. And you're not going to see the craziest gains. Maybe you won't even hit any PRs. Maybe you go down. Maybe your weight goes down, right? But the good thing is, the important thing is that you went to the gym. It's about consistency. So, every time you sit down to study, you might not always learn everything you wanted to learn, or have any energy at all, or I gotta stop. I'm literally gonna stop. The game's on me, bro. I'm done. I'm gonna come back and revisit this topic at a later date. Right now, I'm gonna get a cup of coffee because this is ridiculous and frankly kind of dumb. It's a bit too big, I would say. All right. I'm getting a cup of coffee. I'll probably see y'all later. We can like hang out or something. But for now, I got nothing in me.